Hello my friends, welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. In today's tutorial I am going to show you how to paint this beautiful poinsettia, and this is perfect for the beginner because it is very easy. I'm using the wet and wet technique for the entire painting, and all I'll be doing is just dropping in some color. When I started this painting, I started with the intention of making a card out of it, but I loved the painting so much when it was finished that I couldn't bear the thought of giving it away. So it's already framed and in my living room as holiday decor. So the brushes that I'm using are silver black velvet. I'm using a size 8 and a size 4. And the paints that I'm using are the Muñoz pan paints. The colors are purple, permanent rose, crimson lake, phthalo green, sap green, and lemon yellow. And I'll be dropping in those colors randomly, except for the yellow and the green. They will be in specific areas. As you can see here at the base of this petal, I dropped in a little bit of the sap green and a little bit of the phthalo green closer to the base of the petal, just to make it a little bit darker. And I wet down the entire petal first. And then while the petal is still wet, I drop in my colors. And I'm just alternating between the permanent rose, crimson lake, and the lemon yellow. So this is really easy, perfect for the beginner. And it's such a soft look when the painting is finished that I was really happy. It turned out better than I thought because I'm painting on Fluid 100% cotton watercolor paper, and for some reason I got a bad batch with this pad because it gives me such problems. It doesn't dry evenly, and I've never had this happen before. I bought this at an art supply store and I've had problems with this pad, but I am determined to use the paper since I bought it. I'm going to use it. So you can see for that last petal that I painted, I used the purple at the base of the petal because it's between two petals and it should be in shadow, so I wanted to make it a little bit darker. And here I'm painting the stamen. And to start at the base of each of these little, I guess little buds, I'm going to call them, I started with the phthalo green and then I switched over to the sap green to lighten it up a little bit. And I did wet the entire area first, and then I dropped in the lemon yellow. And you'll see me doing that here, starting with the green and then dropping in the lemon yellow while the paper is still wet. And that's what I love about this style of painting, is that it's really, I find it so easy. Because you're just wetting down the area and you're dropping down the colors, and they blend together on the paper so beautifully, and it looks so natural when it blends together. It doesn't look forced. That's the beauty of watercolor. I am learning to just put the paint down and let it do its thing. I'm giving up a little bit of control. At least I'm trying to. So you see me tipping up the pad here because it's hard to see when it's flat how much water you have on the paper and whether you covered the entire area. You may have missed a spot. So by tipping the pad towards me, I can see better where I have how much water and if I missed any spots. You don't want the water puddling in the area. You want to make sure that the paper is just glistening, but you do have to make sure that you have enough water on there. So for this petal, you can see I've dropped in a heavier consistency of the permanent rose, especially in the area where the petal is covered by another petal. I want to create a little bit of shadow. So while you watch me paint this petal, I'll remind you that all the products used in this tutorial are listed and linked in the description box just below the video. So if you're interested in purchasing or using the same products that I am using in this video, or if you just want more information on any of the products, take a look down there. And I want to remind you that I also have a Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials, that I created so that my YouTube subscribers would have a place to post their versions of the paintings and techniques learned on this channel. We have such a lovely group of members, and the group is quickly growing, and the members are so supportive and just so talented, and I love the way we all interact with one another. It's a very friendly environment. It's like a family. They're very supportive, and if you have any questions, they are always happy to answer, as am I. I'm very active in the group, so if you're ever having any issues, you can always reach out to me, post your painting learned from this channel, and I'll help you out any way that I can. So you can see that I am randomly dropping in the colors. I'm keeping mostly the yellows and the greens towards the base of each petal, but on this one I added a lot of yellow, and you can see here I'm using the tip of the brush to blend those colors together because this was not blending the way it should on this particular pad. And when I want to lighten the tip of the petal, I just clean my brush, I dab it on my paper towel, and then I just pull the color that's already on the petal towards the tip. And then I'll go back and drop in a little bit more color here and there, and then just use the brush to blend it in. Now you see me touching the paper to make sure that it's dry, because I want to make sure that the petals that are next to the one that I'm currently painting are dry, so that if I should accidentally touch the petal next to it, the colors don't run from one petal into the other. So you always want to make sure that the area that you're painting next to is dry. That's probably the most difficult part for me about watercolor, is being patient and waiting for it to dry before I add another layer or paint next to an area. But you learn the hard way that it pays to be patient. So you can see me here, I'm just pushing the paint along because it's not blending the way I would like. So I'm just using the tip of the brush and I'm pushing it towards the tip of the petal and blending it as I go along. So here I'm painting around the stamen. So I switched to the smaller brush and I'm just using the tip of the brush to go in between the stamen and trying to be very careful so that I don't paint over them. But for most of the painting I use the size 8. Having a smaller brush is good to have around so that you can get into those tight areas like you see me doing here. Now I'm switching back to the larger brush and blending those colors together. Now here I'm just connecting the petals that are in the background to the center, because otherwise they look like they're just floating. So I'm just adding a little bit of color there to make it look like they're attached to the center. Now there were a few more petals to this painting that should have been pink, but I decided I wanted to make them green. And that's what you see me doing here. I'm wetting down the entire leaf. And then I'm dropping a little bit of the phthalo green. And I think I mixed it also with the sap green. Then I cleaned my brush and I just dragged the color that was already on the paper towards the tip of the leaf. And again, you can see that the colors are not blending on the paper like they're supposed to. So I'm just using the brush to move the color around until I'm satisfied. Hopefully you won't have this issue. And adding the green really brought the painting together in my eyes. I love how the green from the center is now around the edges as well. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that you give it a try. This is a really simple technique and the results are absolutely gorgeous. Again, if you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments and I will get back to you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your interaction with my channel is really helpful and it means a lot to me. It's a wonderful way to show your support. I really do appreciate it. And here we go, removing the tape. Always the best part. And stick around, I'll show you a picture of the finished painting. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.